Robin. How are you today?
I am fantastic, Marta. How are you?
Very good. I'm very happy to be able to share this time with you and share your story with our audience.
Absolutely. Thrilled to be here.
So how about we start by sharing who is Robin in the psyche world and how did PSYCH-K find you?
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Robin Graham and I live in Memphis, Tennessee. And PSYCH-K has been in my life since 1994. So a very long time. And, you know, probably as a lot of people have experienced things, it showed up in my life through synchronicity. I didn't know I was actually seeking something or what I was seeking, but I discovered that I was frustrated. So frustration is often the catalyst for change, right? So I was frustrated with, you know, the fact that I knew how to do things. I knew why it was important. I knew how to do it, and yet I didn't get it done. And I had a beautiful way of doing things with hard work and discipline and determination. And that had been my family work ethic. And I had been a competitive swimmer, so I understood all of that. And I had been a corporate ladder climber. But it wasn't a very, you know, I wasn't having fun. And in 1994, I didn't get to attend a conference, but Rob Williams, the originator of PSYCH-K, was one of the speakers at this conference. And we got the recordings of the presentations, and his was titled, "Does Your Left Brain Know What Your Right Brain's Doing?" Which really intrigued me because I had already been spending years teaching in the corporate arena around brain and subconscious and conscious and things like that. So listen to the recording. And an hour later, I turned to my business partner, who was also my husband, and I said, I don't know any more about this guy than just this 1 hour, but I have to go learn more. And it was like every cell in my body just went ding, 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 yes, that direction. And so it was like I couldn't not do it, you know, the reverse way of saying it, but it was, I had to go learn more. And so you know, this was long before the internet, long before YouTube, long before, you know, we barely had emails, if anybody is old enough to remember 1994. So, yeah, right, I admit. So in March of 94, I went and I flew to attend the basic workshop. And the interesting thing is I went in wanting to be there. However, my, let's say, highly trained left brain from information technology was questioning everything and couldn't buy into the simple concepts of this process. It had to be hard work. I was so wired that way. But when I left the workshop, I realized within a week some things that had changed dramatically, and I could not explain them away any other method than the changes that had occurred in this workshop. And so as a result of that, I started working with friends and family, continued to use it with myself, and they were getting results. And then they started inviting their friends to work with me. And so I realized at that point that this was probably something more than just a side activity that I was going to do in addition to my consulting and training business. And so I reconnected, I attended the advanced workshop, which completely did a mind blow for me and allowed me to recognize things within myself that I didn't even know had that ability. So this capacity of myself, it really expanded my perception of life more than I could even describe. And in '97, I was blessed and honored to be invited by Rob to be one of the first instructors of the basic workshop in the world. So I've been teaching the basics since '94. And then again, a few years later, he invited me to be one of the first instructors in the advanced workshop. And so I now teach basic, advanced, and we've added since the original time, the master facilitation, and I facilitate the Divine Integration Retreat. And I'm also joyfully get to certify new advanced instructors within our PSYCH-K arena. But because of my business background, my passion has always been to bring this into the business world. So I'm also the international director for PER-K, which is the way that we offer PSYCH-K in a business framework so that businesses can, and the people obviously in the businesses, can reach their full potential, and the organization can do business differently. There's a new way of doing business, and we won't spend time on that one. We'll do another interview around that. But there's a whole way that businesses need to change their mindset, and that starts with the individuals. So I love doing that. And so, you know, I guess in summary, you can see 1994 was a pivotal year in my life that allowed me to connect with a part of myself I wasn't even aware of in my purpose of being really here as a human.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to invite people to actually live and achieve their own personal greatness, whatever that turns out to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lovely.
Yeah.
So in this path, in so many years, I think the definition of what is PSYCH-K has probably evolved. If somebody were to ask you today, what is PSYCH-K? What's your answer?
You know, I would say it's an absolutely beautiful, proven process that allows you to reconnect to your, or with, I should say, reconnect with your inner essence, your divine essence, and invites you to transform any limitations or blocks that allows you, that's blocking you from living your greatness. So it's really an invitation for people to step into who they truly are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know, it's just, there's so many people that feel frustration in their lives. And so for me, again, that was kind of the catalyst. And I invite people that if there's an area in your life that you know there could be something better, explore PSYCH-K, because it's just, it's such a beautiful way of transforming.
Yeah. And in this idea of doing business, and you and I have been exposed to marketing, and we know that we need to define who our process is for. So who do you say PSYCH-K is for?
Well, that one's a challenging one because we know in our hearts it's for everybody. You know, I beautifully love to work with anyone that is open and willing to explore their own possibilities. And I'm not going to spend a time now just to kind of qualify who my target group is, because I want to keep it more broad than that. But, you know, in teaching as long as I have, it's almost like there's two groups of people that show up. One is people who are just starting. They've just kind of opened the door and they're just starting down the path. And for them, they're amazed at how simple this process of change can be. Because like me, they were perceiving they were going to do hard work and discipline. So what I've noticed, though, is sometimes they go and find something else and they go learn some other things. But often, by staying in touch with them, they find their way back because they realize the integrity and the authenticity, the beautiful elegance of PSYCH-K. The other group of people that I see coming into the workshops are those that are workshop students, junkies that have been through
collectors.
Yeah, right, collectors. They've been through everything. And we love them because they have such a broad experience with other things that for them, what I've noticed is it's almost like when they get it, they go, ah, they just get to exhale finally, because they realize that it doesn't have to be manuals this thick, and it doesn't have to be weeks and months and years of doing something repetitively. That, you know, we know that it doesn't work consistently this way, but there is a potential that within just a few minutes, something that had been a lifelong trauma, for example, or a fear, can be resolved. That is amazing. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So, you know, I would invite people to, it's really a self-selection. You know, we often get asked, why don't we see more about PSYCH-K? Why don't we see you marketing in all kinds of ways? And just like my experience, it just showed up in my life, and then the bells went off. And I think that it's an invitation more than a marketing concept. We're an invitation for people when you're ready to find and dig in and explore your shadows and your possibilities, then this shows up in your world.
Yeah. And you mentioned a couple of things that make this process different. You talked about the authenticity and the simplicity and the elegance of this, and how, you know, after we collect all these things and we finally say, ah, yeah, I was there. So if somebody were to ask you, okay, of all this array of possibilities that we have nowadays, why is PSYCH-K different? Apart from these things that you already mentioned, what sets it apart that would be the arguments for somebody to say, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go do that?
Yeah, so I could probably spend the next 20 minutes talking about that, but I'll just give a couple of examples. First, I just want to say, you know, there are a lot of amazing modalities out there, and they align with people at a certain time in their life for a particular purpose. And so I really would invite people to explore what resonates with them. For me, with PSYCH-K, it resonated completely. And I actually stopped going, you know, I'm aware of a lot of other modalities, but I don't really go attend other workshops because I so am passionate and my cells and DNA are related to PSYCH-K. So what I think is unique about this, one of the key things is that it's a respectful partnership. That we don't do anything on or to somebody. We actually are facilitators or guides for this process to invite them to go within, and they do the change process. So I think it's very different. We hold sacred space, and we ask questions, and we clarify, and we guide, but we don't do it. And I love that part about this. And you know, for me, I might have thought for years before PSYCH-K that I needed, you know, I probably need to go find a therapist or something. And therapy is fantastic for different things. I, though, am very private, and it's not something that resonated with me. This allows you to do inner therapy without externally exposing things that maybe are shameful for you or things that you don't want to talk about. I would say the other thing, as far as being a facilitator, it is an absolute gift to be in observation when someone's in one of our change processes that we call balances. To sit and just observe. I don't do anything. I observe. And that's phenomenal. And you get to watch them transform from, you know, maybe some stress or internal tension. You watch, they let it go, and then they find this new place. Maybe they call it peace or freedom, whatever they might term it. But they find this new way of being, this new perspective. And that is such an honor just to observe that. And then again, invite and welcome people to find who they truly are. You know, we use muscle testing, and I think muscle testing is used in a lot of different modalities, but the purpose of what we use it for is to allow a validation so that neither we as the facilitator or the partner we're working with has to guess at anything. So it gives us this validating aspect and no surprises. And then I think the other thing I love is that at the end of a session, we always ask for an action step. What's something simple that that person can do to consciously choose to support this internal change that's occurred? And what that actually does is it invites people to have personal responsibility. So again, a big difference is this is not something outside themselves that's making a change. So it's not me or someone or something. It's not the, you know, the chimes or the crystals or whatever that's happening outside. It's them having the personal responsibility to create that change within them.
Yeah.
You know, so there's many other things that are different. I think the biggest thing is to invite someone who hasn't experienced PSYCH-K to experience it, and they will find the resonance, the difference that meets for them.
Part of the reason why we're doing these videos is to make it visible for those who are ready and let them know that we are happening all over the world. So where do you teach?
Well, so I live in Memphis, Tennessee. I do teach here, and I also teach throughout the United States. And one of the things that happened early on when I got involved with teaching is I actually love to travel. I went outside the US for the first time when I was 8. So I got that love of travel. And so early on when I started teaching, I actually did some balancing with myself to be able to teach and travel with this beautiful work. And so as a result of that, I've been invited to teach all over the world. So I've taught in 20 different countries on 6 continents, still working on Antarctica, but in 6 different continents. And I've been translated in 6 different languages. I only teach in English, but it's this is another one of the beautiful aspects about this process is that it's translatable across the world, all kinds of cultures, different languages. I've actually been translated in 6. You've probably have many, and I can't remember how many translations we've had out there, but I was in Taiwan last year for the 2nd time teaching in Chinese. Materials in Chinese, they're learning it in a full translation, and they stand up to practice, and it's exactly how we experience it when I teach in English. It's so learnable. It's just beautiful. So yeah, so I teach wherever I can across the globe. Love the opportunity.
Such fun.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
We get to do this as a business. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you also do private sessions?
I do. Yeah. I have this split love. I love teaching and I love working with people one-to-one. So I offer private sessions in person in Memphis, if that's appropriate, but also online or through the phone.
And we'll be sharing your contact info so people who want to know about your sessions, about your workshops, or about PER-K that you already mentioned, so that they can find out more. One last question. Fast forward to the future, 50 years. Somebody's talking about Robin Graham. What would they say is your legacy?
It's an interesting question to think about, right? So I think what I would love to be remembered as is a gift to someone's life that listened deeply to them and invited them to reconnect to their divine essence while continuing their evolutionary path, whatever that is. And if that is what people remember me by, I have done my human service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for today, and thank you for all you do, and for being, like I said earlier, my master of simplicity and of delivering PSYCH-K in the most effective way possible.
Thank you very much, Marta. Blessings to you. All right.
Bye.
Bye.